Hey everybody, welcome to another video here on 67 Stang channel. So we're gonna today go ahead and get started on the driver's side. I'm going to pull the vent window out of here. Now when I did this on the passenger side, I didn't shoot the video on how that worked, and several of y'all actually requested that I produce a video that showed you how to take this out. So that's what we're going to do next, and we'll get into all of that. Okay, so we'll get started on this, but first I got to tell you all a little story here. So, I got new, what you call it here. Pull this off. I've been using, anyway, these paper, coated paper things that go in the doors, between the door and the door panels. I got a new set of these. Well, I laid them out, the first set I got, out on my truck on the bed to let them flatten out because they come rolled up like this, right? So you got to flatten them out. Well, my wife, unbeknownst to me, took my truck somewhere while they were out there on the back, and of course they blew off. I was able to save one, the one for the driver's door, but the passenger door one disappeared. So I had to go order some new ones, or she did. And she ordered from CJ Pony Parts, and somehow the order duplicated. We got a quantity of two, so I got two because they come in a set, one for each. A set contains one for each door. And then I also ordered, get this, some of this strip caulk, because this is what you put on the door to hold the paper in place. So now I have two boxes of this, which is way more than I need, and I got two sets of this by mistake. I called CJ Pony Parts, and well, first I tried to email them before they shipped to get the order corrected. In what has become typical CJ Pony Parts fashion, they didn't respond to the email, so they went ahead and shipped them. I tried to contact them and say, listen, it doubled the order. I don't need two sets. So after going back and forth and arguing with them, because, oh, you can just return them and get a refund. Well, okay, well then send me a shipping label. Well, no, we're not going to send you a shipping label. Well, when I checked out, the order wasn't doubled. So the order in the checkout screen showed the quantity of one, and the dollar figure was $45 to $50. I hit checkout, then when I got the confirmation, it had doubled everything. So it was almost $90 and two. So it's like, no, the problem's not on my end, and they wanted to argue about whether there was a glitch in their system or whatnot. And I'm sure they get people to do some of this stuff, but I work with computers. I know just because a system doesn't show a glitch in the past doesn't mean that something doesn't cause it to glitch now. Anyway, regardless. So they agreed to give me a refund, but they said I'd have to destroy the items because they weren't worth enough to have shipping back. And I'm thinking, so, okay, destroying the paper things here, easy enough, right? I can just pull them out of here, shred them up, send them a picture, all that. Seems like a waste, but whatever. But how in the heck do you destroy strip caulk? I don't know what to do here, so I still got to figure that out. To me, if it's not worth the money to ship back, if they don't think it's worth it, and they would just say, why not just give a customer we've obviously purchased a bunch of parts from them over time, just a credit. Just credit them back and say, do what you want to with them. Why force the it just doesn't make sense from a customer service standpoint. I don't get it. Anyway, we're going to destroy them at some point to get the refund. Unless somebody speaks up and is in the metro Atlanta area that wants or needs it, then maybe we can work out a deal. But anyway, I just had to share that with you before we get into here. So We'll get the cameras positioned in here, and then we'll get in and talk about how to get this out of the door. I'm not sure if I'm going to be taking out the full window here, because unlike the passenger window, the driver's window goes up and down very easily. It works well. The passenger door didn't do that, so I may not need to pull that one out. I just haven't decided yet. I do know that I have up here in this front part of the door some repair work I need to do where that had rusted out. It's actually up here. So I got to figure out that, and that may make it, if I may pull the window out to make that easier. But anyway, when we get camera set up so we can start pulling this apart, because the first step is to get this door panel off. So we're going to get shifted. I'm going to get some tools, and we'll talk about that. Also, I'm going to disconnect the battery because I'm going to leave the door open and the lights are on, and I don't want to kill my battery. So do all that, and then we'll come back and get started. Okay, so the first thing we got to do before we pull this out is to pull this panel off. So it's going to be removing all of this stuff here. So typically what you're going to need to start with is a Phillips head screwdriver to get these off. There's 2 bolts up in the armrest here. I think, I'll verify this real quick. Yep, are a 3/8, so you'll need a 3/8 socket up in there. And then if you have the remote mirror here, then you're going to need to get this off. This takes, they have a special socket for it. I'm not going to do it. I should be able to get it with my fingers. It's not in there very tight. So anyway, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to go with the armrest first. So some of the neighborhood kids, they love this old car. Okay, so now we got that off now, or all those parts. It's now time to get this off. And they have pieces or tools for this, but I just like to use a plastic kind of wedge to try to get these popped loose, get those clips under there out. You want to be careful. This backing behind the vinyl here is cardboard. Now I have a new set of these to put on later, so I'm not as worried about damaging them. But if you're going to be reusing these, you definitely don't want to try to damage that. So be careful about pulling these out. Be a little bit delicate. And if you're worried about the paint here, you might want to put some tape or something as you're doing this so you don't mess up the paint. Okay, you can see I've had this off before, by the tape I put in there, but that's when I replaced the mirror. So you can see the clips that go on. See if I can flip this around so you can probably see it. I've got the clips here, here, here. You can see the slots. You can actually, these slide in, so you can actually slide this out. I'm going to keep the clips and I'm going to reuse the ones that are here. I mean, they're fine, they work. So anyway, so that's that. And then I said you've got this tape in, or this paper barrier, clips for that. So this paper barrier, just peel it back. Now again, I'm not worried about saving this because I have new ones. If you're going to reuse this, you want to be gentle, obviously. I'm not planning to reuse this, so I'm not so worried about gentle. Although, I feel obligated to, I don't know. So you can see here, this is all that strip caulk that was used by the factory to hold that on. See how they put it around here and whatnot. So with that, now I'm going to shift cameras a little bit, bring you in closer. You can see what we've got to do to take this piece out. I've also got to figure out what I do with the wiring for the mirror. If it gets in there. So let's bring you around and get you closer to see all that. Okay, so first off, I want to mention that if you're going to take out both the main glass and this vent window, I have personally found, based on my experience with the passenger side, and keep in mind that's the only door I've removed all the glass on in my entire life, that it's easier to do the vent window first and then take out the main window. So what I'm going to do is bring you in now and show you what you've got to do. And if anybody's watched where I put the vent window back in, it's kind of the reverse process, right? So I've rolled the main window down all the way. I don't know if you need to do that, we'll see, I don't remember. But basically we've got 2 bolts here, and I'll bring you in closer to see that. 2 bolts here. Then we've got a unique nut and Allen screw bolt here, and then we've got to remove this little plastic seal out to get to another one of those nuts and Allen screw bolts here. So I'm going to get let's get this out first. So I'll get my oops. Now let me bring you in first and kind of show you what I'm talking about, and then we'll go from there. So as I said, we've got the one screw or bolt there. We've got the other bolt here, right? So that's here and here. Then we have this nut and Allen screw bolt there. And then I said, we've got this little grommet, whatever you want to call it here. So I'm going to try to pull that out. It's just like the ones used to cover up the bolts that hold the seats in underneath the car in the floor pan. Anyway, it's hard to do one-handed, so I'm going to stop filming real quick and then we'll come back in. Okay, so you can see we got it out, and it's got the same, actually it doesn't. It's missing the nut there. Interesting. Huh. Wonder how that happened. I wonder if it's down in the door. Well, I guess we'll find out once we get this out of here, and I'll try to do a little archaeological research. See, so what I'm going to do now is loosen up all these other bolts, and then we'll try to wiggle this sucker out of here. So I'm going to put you back up, and we'll get on that one. So make sure you're where you can see it. There we go. All of these are 1/2 inch. Okay. You can see that one has that big washer on it. Oh, get that fit in there. Just one kind of. Notice again, the one back here is the longer one. This is going to be a shorter one. See, that one's much shorter, right, than this one, right? So the longer one's to the back, shorter one's to the front. It is important to remember that. Also notice the rust, right? The back one looks fairly good. Look at the rust on this one, which why we have rust up here. I've got to figure out what to do with. Now, the reason I undid these first, I should say, is because these screws, the Allen head nut bolts that screw into the frame of this, actually control the, as you saw when I put the new one on, or put the one back on the passenger side, control the in and out of this. So I want to make sure the window has plenty of play in it as I work to unscrew these, because by unscrewing this, it's kind of pushing this bottom out, which is going to kick this in, and I want to make sure it has wiggle room so I don't break the frame for the vent window, because they can be quite brittle and easy to break based on what they're made out of. So I'm just trying to be careful and cognizant of that as I'm undoing this. And I can actually hear the window shifting as I'm unscrewing this. It should be loose. Let's see if we can do. I should have done this bottom one first. Let's see if I can screw this back in. Okay, I gotta get the bottom one out. The window is shifted some, so I have to. Okay, I gotta get down where I can see this one to get it out. But I'm able to shift the window around, which is good. So get that out, and then we'll yank her on out. Just put on the window crank trap, not the door latch. Ta-da! We got it out. So that had a screw in my mouth, sorry. But that's how the vent window comes out. So there we go, guys. You've now seen how to take the vent window out. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to take the rest of the window, the main window out, but there's some other videos associated with that. Or if I do, I'll try to film it. But I wanted to show you all that because some folks specifically asked it, or asked for it, I should say. So we're going to call that a video. So it's probably going to end up being a very short one once I get done editing. But anyway, hopefully you learned something, you found it helpful. If you did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Those really help, right? Those simple interactions of clicking on the like button really goes a long way in the YouTube algorithm world of kind of allowing people to find the video and getting more people to the channel. Already up to over 300 now, so we're up to 317, which in the grand scheme of YouTube is not big, but I think it's pretty big myself. So do that. Don't forget a couple things. We have our own website now dedicated to the car, where I'm posting history of the car, or posted information about the history of the vehicle. I'm going to try to get stories posted about owners. Myself, my dad, sadly my mom passed, so I can't get information from her. But then the family that had it for 10 years, from 77 to 87, I'm trying to get some stories from them and their remembrances of the car posted. So I think that'll be pretty cool. Of course, don't forget the merch store. I've got that so you can get shirts like this one here. The artwork that Andrew Meyer with Grease Rookie Garage channel did for me. Very impressive with that. I'm going to actually try to get in and see if I can't, get some different colors maybe done too. If that's something you'd be interested in. You have a 67 or 68 Mustang and you'd like to see a different color, and that would, I can try to do that. I'm not nearly the artist that Andrew is, but we'll see. But all the funds from that, proceeds, and they're not a whole lot that we get, but anything we do go back into the car, because I have a lot of stuff I still want to do here. I want to put AC in the car. I want to put in a Borgenson power steering unit. I want to put power brakes, at least, if not do a whole power and front disc conversion of the car. I want to do that. Still need to get the instrument cluster working. I kind of just stopped that because it was just a pain, so I need to do that. And of course we still have the EFI from Holly whenever it gets around to getting here. So we still have many things to do with the car, so stay tuned. If you want to, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. With that, guys, thanks. Hope you'll have a great one. I'll see y'all in the next video.